speaking of liberal cities, let's talk about Chicago, because y'all are Gotham City over there. Now, I got a lot of smoke for a lot of different things in a lot of different places, and I ain't even going to talk about Brandon Johnson. I ain't talked about Brandon Johnson in like 2 weeks. So he's on reprieve. It's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for Brandon Johnson. But let me be very, very clear. It's Gotham City over there in Chicago. Oh, you don't believe me? You think that Anton is just talking about Chicago simply because the Pistons beat up on Michael Jordan back in 89 and 90, and that the Detroit Lions just got done whooping on the Chicago Bears just last week? Nah, I don't have anything personal against Chicago. I think that Chicago is the poster child for what is wrong with these liberal cities. Let me show you as an example and give you an example of what has been happening just over the last 24 hours. 24 hours, all right? 24 hours. This is what's been happening in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen.
A warning from Chicago police about 12 armed robberies in just an hour. They all took place on the southwest side between 7:20 and 8:20 this morning. Police say in each case, between 2 and 4 men approached the victims. The robbers were armed with guns and demanded the victims' property.
Let's go to the next one, because there was actually more robberies that were happening in a completely separate area.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. We're learning new details tonight at 10 about a drive-by shooting that injured 5 teens. It happened just as a concert let out from the United Center, and 911 callers reported hearing up to 20 gunshots. Our Sarah Maki spoke to community advocates about the violence as police search for the suspects responsible.
A traumatic start to the Thanksgiving holiday for several families. Police say 5 teens were shot here just as a concert was letting out of the United Center.
All right, Fadina's in Sullivan City right now. We're getting a person shot, United Center, 1901 West Madison.
Dozens of evidence markers laid out across the pavement. Gunshots through the window of a nearby taxi.
3-4 shots on my car.
This is what remains after a drive-by shooter unleashed on a busy intersection as crowds were leaving a Rod Wave concert in the United Center.
20 shots heard. Caller saw a guy wearing a mask and a gray shirt.
Police say the victims were 15, 16, and 18 years old. Each of them hit or grazed at least once. Injuries on their arms or legs.
You have changed these people's life.
Community activist Andrew Holmes came to the scene after the shooting, a scenario he's seen play out time after time, this time on a holiday.
Well, it changes the family's plans. You know, other than getting together around the table, you have a missing person that ain't at that table that's in the hospital.
Police say the victims are all expected to survive. They have not identified any of the injured. No arrests at this time.
Upset because of another mass shooting, because you have multiple people. And you were trying to take these people's life. But so far, they are surviving right now. But what was the reason? I mean, why?
Right now, it's unclear if the teens were here as part of the post-concert crowds or if they were walking along this area for another reason.
Don't worry. That was just the second multiple gun shootings, which I would consider a mass shooting, in Chicago. Let me continue.
Is from Chicago's Little Italy neighborhood. The search is on for suspects after 2 men were shot near 13th and Troop. They were sitting in a parked car when someone in a silver sedan opened fire around 2 o'clock this morning. CPD tells us a 23-year-old man is in critical condition and a 26-year-old man is in fair condition.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's just another thing that happened over the last 24 hours with Chicago. Let me move over to another thing that's happening out here in these streets.
We're also watching breaking news in the south suburbs. Chopper 2 captured a tense scene. SWAT teams used smoke grenades to get a suspected robber out of a liquor store.
CBS 2's Suzanne Lemignot was in Midlothian as it happened. Suzanne?
Well, Midlothian police and the ATF just wrapped up a news conference moments ago. We've learned 3 people are in custody. 2 of those people taken into custody had held individuals in this liquor store at gunpoint before barricading themselves inside. This video from Chopper 2 shows a SWAT team in front of Emporium Liquors here in Midlothian. They were responding to an armed robbery that turned into a barricade situation. A negotiator was sent in. Moments later, a man could be heard over a loudspeaker saying, "Come to the front door of the building with your hands up." Seconds later, on the ground and in the air, our cameras captured a man leaving the building with his hands in the air. He walked backwards towards waiting SWAT members. They got the man on his knees to cuff him. There was an officer on the roof of the building sitting behind what appeared to be a very large weapon. There were police on the side of the building and in front, too.
As we go through story, now remember, this is not a collage of things that's been happening throughout the year. This happened on Thanksgiving. Over the last 24 hours, this is what's been happening while you guys were at the table doing cranberry and macaroni and cheese and greens and cornbread and turkey and chicken and whatever else your heart felt was great. We were over there and my daughter was sitting next to me and I was thankful for her because she had her varsity jacket on and we were showing videos of how the kids have progressed over the last year and all of this great things is happening. So meanwhile, while you and I were trying to figure out how it is that we could prepare for the next day so that we can get our children through school and make sure that we're doing the right thing and paying our taxes, and I'm over there trying to figure out whether or not the numbers line up and trying to go through the Patreon and figure out how many people are going to be pitching their businesses so that we can have the right amount of money allocated for you guys. People over in Chicago said that we going on a crime spree because the devil is in the air and we are embracing it. They said a new album came out. The new album came out, new drill album. What drill album just came out in Chicago? And they were killing, stealing, robbing. Even when you wanted to go out to a concert, they were shooting at you. What the hell is happening in Chicago? What is happening in all of these cities within our communities? Why do y'all keep talking about the white man or racism and you are out there robbing, killing, and stealing from each other? I never understood it. The only time that you can start to have a conversation about the white man or somebody coming against you is when you first have your own household in order. That means that you can start to hold somebody else accountable, because I don't see this happening in any other communities to each other. Who is forcing you to put up the ooh-wop shebang and shoot it at your brother if y'all love each other so much? How can y'all sit here and hold me accountable for not being on code when I'm not the one that's robbing and stealing? I'm the one that's employing and dealing. You rob each other, you kill each other, you hate each other, you talk negative about each other on social media as far as posting up where your ops is at and you got guns in your pictures. And in 24 hours, I've literally just shown you. I was going to show you 5. I decided to show you 4. There is never a shortage of content that is in my email. Chicago, 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 Chicago. Women getting beat up on Chicago. Man get robbed. Dude get killed. Teens getting clipped off because they breaking into people's cars. Nobody want to go to school. Community broken. Brandon Johnson. Aldermen fighting. Corruption. Chicago don't even own their own streets. Majority black neighborhoods is trash. Southside, new drill rapper. Chief Keef don't even want to live there. Lil Durk don't want to live there. King Von is being celebrated even though he's considered to be a serial killer. New videos released of King Von in jail saying that he's gay. This person, that person, this person, Chicago, Chicago. Ain't y'all tired? Honestly, ain't y'all tired? Yo, I believe that Chicago is the inspiration behind Batman in Gotham City. I believe that Chicago has to be the inspiration before and after of what Gotham City is going to be like. Yo, if you're not sending in Batman, then don't even go. I know the aldermen invited me. They said, Anton, yeah, man, you can come through. You safe. I don't believe I'm safe. I'm not Hassan Campbell. I'm not. I'm not Hassan Campbell. Somebody in the chat said, rest in peace, Devon. What do you mean? He was a serial killer. Am I off? Why are we saying rest in peace to who was somebody that was identified as a serial killer? Some of his victims' mother came out publicly and said, this dude killed my son, and y'all are saying rest in peace to him. What is wrong with this community? You don't believe me? Here, I'll show it to you. Let me show it to you. What is wrong with this community? Why would you say rest in peace to Vaughn? What about the peace for his victims? So we don't say rest in peace to the victims. We say rest in peace to the killers. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Before my time is up on this earth, I'm going to just completely remove myself from ever talking about the black community altogether. Before my time is up on this earth, I'm going to just have to completely remove myself from participating in conversations with regard to the black community altogether, bro. Because this is crazy. This is absolutely insane if you ask me. I have no idea what we're doing or where we're going or how you guys plan on continuing to fix yourselves while also asking for reparations. But this is insane. I don't even feel safe wearing my Rolex on my live stream in a completely different city while talking about Chicago. That's how insane this place is.